Hey everyone, this is unscripted and uncut. You know, earlier I did a video best I could, which was also uncut and unscripted, talking about the possible immortality of Twilight and possibly her friends and how that could be, and basically how Twilight being basically the princess of friendship as well as the princess of all magic, basically her being the most powerful magical alicorn pony around, that, well, because basically that's what they're building up to, showing that she could cast spells and even create new spells and everything. So, who's to say, like I mentioned in the video, she doesn't cast a spell of immortality, but also adds a few little details, new details to it that allows her friends to join her in immortality, but with a few, like I said, changes here and there. Like they have to still age naturally, but to a point that it's kind of a blending of how she first met them, but also shows that they have grown with age and thus grown with wisdom. It's that you see kind of like the wrinkles, the silver in the hair, stuff like that. But speaking of Twilight's inevitable ascension, one fan actually brought up a question, speculating of what could happen with Celestia and Luna. You see, one thing that has been rumored, speculated if you will, is the possibility that as we get towards the end, we're going to somehow, some way, get some kind of future glimpse, kind of look into the future. Not saying that's for certain. Not saying that's for certain, if you know what I mean. But, we kind of get that glimpse into the future. People are thinking about that. And again, if you know what I'm talking about, you kind of understand what I'm trying to say, trying to avoid things, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, one fan brought up some speculations in a theory as to Celestia and Luna once they step down and retire officially. And that is, what will become of them? Will they stay immortal, just like Twilight and probably Twilight's friends will be? Or will they actually start showing some mortality, like maybe they get to a certain cycle, certain point in the life cycle, in the immortality life cycle, and after they hit that certain point, the immortality reverts back to mortality, and then that's it for them. Like what happens then? Some fans actually speculated that possibly Celestia and Luna, once they hit the millionth year, would essentially go with the wind, if you know what I mean. In other words, when their time is up, they start to fade. In other words, they fade away, but not into extinction and forgetfulness for anybody else, or any pony else, I should say. But mostly, they fade away and become one with the world around them, the world that they help protect. Some have speculated that, if that was to happen with Celestia and Luna, that if they hit the millionth year and the immortality becomes mortality, that, the fate is they won't die. It's just that they will ascend to a higher plane by becoming one with the world. They'll start fading. The physical forms will kind of fade away, but by fading away, they'll fade away and become nothing but like stars and sparkles and stuff like that. Which, when you take a look into some of the lore and mythology that they use to kind of help build upon the universe would make sense, because we know in a lot of mythologies that are internationally, universally known, that sometimes the stories that get told always end with a mortal being, with the seemingly a godlike being, ascending into an even higher plane than before. And one could say that that what I read from these fans speculating that possibility for Celestia and Luna would make sense. Like, they've served their time, and now, once they hit that portion in their immortal life cycle where once they hit that portion of it, the immortality fades and gives away back to mortality. That when that moment comes, that'll be the moment where they basically ascend to a higher plane. They become one. They just fade. The bodies just disappear disappear in favor of lights like sparkles, glitter like sparkles, or mist, or whatever that still represents them, but now it allows them to become one, like I said earlier, one with the world that they help protect, watch over, and thus allows them to still do so, for they will be everywhere, in every part of the world, when ponies of that time frame, that present time frame, need wisdom and advice. So, is it possible though? So, is it possible that that could be the fate if, let's say, the series was to continue? Like I said, is it possible that that could be the fate? Let's say if they wanted to continue the series with a bit of a future twist to it, or a future reference to it, or even focus. Like they take something in like a special or something like that, months from now, and decide, hey, let's focus this one last Friendship is Magic special on the future, in the future main six, and the ascension of, Celestia and Luna to a higher plane. Could they do that? Yeah, absolutely they could. There is no doubt that they could do that. But would they? That's another question. I think Dr. Wolf says it best, that basically that kind of stuff you can leave to the fans of fan fiction, or film FIM fiction. You can leave it to them to try to make something out of that. And who knows, maybe even do an animation or a webcomic that kind of focuses around something like that. Just so maybe we can get an idea that maybe, alicorns are not so immortal, after all. And to me, I think it would be I think it would be an emotional but great send-off for those characters down the line. I really think so. But what do you guys think? What do you think possibly, if they wanted to touch upon it, could be the fate of Luna and Celestia after they step away? Could they, if they hit a certain timeline in their life cycle, could their immortality fade away and give way back to mortality? And by doing so, would that allow them to ascend to that higher plane, as I mentioned, where they become like one with the world that they help watch over? What do you guys think? I know I would love to hear Dr. Wolf's theories on this down the line, but what do you guys think of mine? My theories and the theories I've heard from others, or read from others. Let me know down below. Comment if you like. and I'll talk to y'all later.